Major League Soccer Milliliters is a men's professional soccer league sanctioned by the United States Soccer Federation, which represents the sport's highest level in the United States. The league comprises 29 teams, 26 in the United States and 3 in Canada since the 2023 season. Milliliters is headquartered in Midtown Manhattan. Major League Soccer is the most recent in a series of men's premier professional national soccer leagues established in the United States and Canada. The predecessor of Milliliters was the North American Soccer League (NASL), which existed from 1968 until 1984. Milliliters was founded in 1993 as part of the United States' successful bid to host the 1994 FIFA World Cup. The inaugural season took place in 1996 with 10 teams. Milliliters experienced financial and operational struggles in its first few years, losing millions of dollars and folding 2 teams in 2002. Since then, development such as the proliferation of soccer-specific stadiums around the league, implementation of the designated player rule allowing teams to sign star players such as David Beckham, and national TV contracts have made Milliliters profitable. In 2022, with an average attendance of over 21,000 per game, Milliliters has the 4th highest average attendance of the major professional sports leagues in the United States and Canada, behind the National Football League (NFL) with over 69,000 fans per game and Major League Baseball (MLB) with over 26,000 fans per game, and the Canadian Football League (CFL) with over 21,700 fans per game. Milliliters was the 8th highest attended professional soccer league worldwide by 2018. The Milliliters regular season typically starts in late February or early March and runs through mid-October. With each team playing 34 games, the team with the best record is awarded the Supporters' Shield. 18 teams compete in the postseason Milliliters Cup playoffs in late October and November, culminating in the league's championship game, the Milliliters Cup. Instead of operating as an association of independently owned clubs, Milliliters is a single entity in which each team is owned by the league and individually operated by the league's investors. The league has a fixed membership like most sports leagues in the United States and Canada, which makes it one of the few soccer leagues that does not use the promotion and relegation process. The LA Galaxy have the most Milliliters Cups, with 5. They are also tied with DC United for most Supporters' Shields, with 4 each. The Columbus Crew are the defending champions, as they defeated Los Angeles FC 2-1 on December 9, 2023. To mark the end of the 2023 season. Major League Soccer's regular season runs from late February or early March to October. Teams are geographically divided into the Eastern and Western Conferences, playing 34 games in an unbalanced schedule. With 29 teams in 2023, each team plays 2 games, home and away, against every team in its conference and 1 game against all but 4 or 5 of the teams in the opposite conference. The 2020 season was the first season in league history in which teams did not play against every other team in the league. At the end of the regular season, the team with the highest point total is awarded the Supporters' Shield and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Teams break for the annual All-Star Game midway through the season, an exhibition game containing the league's best players. The format of the All-Star Game has changed several times since the league's inception. 2020 was the first year in which the Milliliters All-Stars were planned to play against an All-Star team from Mexico's Liga MX, before the event's cancellation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Unlike most major soccer leagues around the world, but similar to other leagues in the Americas, the Milliliters regular season is followed by a postseason knockout tournament to determine the league champion. As of 2023, 18 teams participate in the Milliliters Cup playoffs in October and November, which concludes with the Milliliters Cup Championship game in early December. The 2023 playoff format includes a pair of single-elimination play-in matches for the 2 lowest-ranked teams in each conference ahead of a best-of-3 round. The round is followed by more single-elimination rounds that lead up to the Milliliters Cup final. Major League Soccer's spring-to-fall schedule results in scheduling conflicts with the FIFA calendar and with summertime international tournaments such as the World Cup and the Gold Cup, causing some players to miss league matches. While Milliliters has looked into changing to a fall-to-spring format, there are no current plans to do so. Were the league to change its schedule, The winter break would be necessary to accommodate teams located in harsh winter climates that would also have to compete with the popularity and media presence of the National Football League NFL, National Basketball Association NBA, and National Hockey League NHL, which all run on fall to spring schedules. Major League Soccer is the most recent of a series of men's premier professional national soccer leagues established in the United States and Canada. The predecessor of Milliliters was the North American Soccer League (NASL), which existed from 1968 until 1984. The United States did not have a truly national top-flight league with FIFA sanctioning until the creation of the NASL. The first league to have U.S. and Canadian professional clubs, the NASL struggled until the mid-1970s when the New York Cosmos, the league's most prominent team, signed a number of the world's best players including Pelé and Franz Beckenbauer. Pelé's arrival attracted other well-known international stars to the league including Johan Cruyff, Gremell, Eusebio, Bobby Moore, and George Best. Despite dramatic increases in attendance with some matches drawing over 70,000 fans such as Soccer Bowl 78, the highest attendance to date for any club soccer championship in the United States over expansion, the economic recession of the early 1980s, and disputes with the Players' Union ultimately led to the collapse of the NASL following the 1984 season, leaving the United States without a top-level soccer league until Milliliters. In 2016, the average salary for Milliliters players was $373,094, lower than the average salaries in England's second-tier EFL Championship $420,000 in 2015, the Netherlands Eredivisie $445,000 or Mexico's Liga MX $418,000 in 2015. The league's minimum player salary increased in 2017 to $65,000 for most players, and roster players number 25-30 saw their minimum salary increased to $53,000. Milliliters salaries are limited by a salary cap, which Milliliters has had in place since the league's inception in 1996. The purpose of the salary cap is to prevent the team's owners from unsustainable spending on player salaries and to prevent a competitive imbalance among teams. The salary cap survived a legal challenge by the players in the Fraser v. Major League Soccer lawsuit. The 2017 salary cap increased to $3.85 million per team. Each team is allowed up to 30 players on its first-team roster. All 30 players are eligible for selection to each 18-player game day squad during the regular season and playoffs. Teams may augment their squads by signing players from other leagues. Milliliters has two transfer windows. The primary preseason transfer window lasts 3 months from mid-February until mid-May, and the secondary mid-season transfer window runs 1 month from early July to early August. When Milliliters club sells one of its players overseas, the club and the league split the transfer revenues, with the club retaining from 33% to 75% depending on the player's status and tenure. Milliliters teams have a limited number of international roster slots that they can use to sign non-domestic players. However, Milliliters teams often obtain green cards for their non-domestic players in order to qualify them for domestic status and thus free up international roster slots. In 2015, 49% of Milliliters players were born outside of the US and Canada, with players from 58 countries represented. Milliliters has a set of pool goalkeepers who are signed to a contract with the league and are loaned to teams during emergencies in which they are missing a goalkeeper due to injuries or suspensions. The pool goalkeeper trains with an Milliliters club or an affiliated team when not assigned to a team. Some pool goalkeepers, including Tim Melia, have gone on to be signed to permanent contract with their assigned teams. In the past, when rosters were smaller, there were multiple goalkeepers signed to the pool. However, in recent years only 1 or 2 keepers are signed as team rosters are much larger. Thanks for watch. Subscribe and follow MV on Instagram on FERNA and the OINYOURHEARTH.